have 20,000 yen. We're gonna head to Jimbocho and hunt down some manga. Let's go. We are over here in Jimbocho to hunt down some manga at used bookstores. I do come over here sometimes, so I'm familiar with the area, but one of the buddies from our Discord group, link down below if you want to come join our Discord group and talk all things manga, knows Jimbocho much better than I do and offered to show me around for the day. So here we are. And luckily for us, while we were over here, they were doing a street fair, a book fair, which means they had all kinds of stalls and stands set up outside to sell sales stuff, overflow stuff, and just all kinds of stuff. So we got pretty lucky, and let's see what I am able to track down. I'm sorry, but I do not remember which shop this is, but they have a good selection of stuff up here on the second floor. Bunch of Mizuki here. There's some nice sets in there. Some shoujo manga. Shoujo Friendo. I see there. It's a bunch of stuff. There's a Hino Hideshi over there. I see Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, if you see something on the shelf that you are interested in, then let me know, like Ishii Takeshi's Angel Guts. That's actually a good price for that series too. I paid more than that for mine. I think mine's in a little better condition though. And there's some more manga magazines. Doraemon! Here is a Tezuka section. All things Tezuka. And these are a lot of like old, like early Showa light novels, and not so much manga, some illustration books. Not a lot of stuff I'm familiar with, but some of the covers are really rad. You gotta love old sci-fi covers, old mystery covers. And they had a bunch of vintage posters in here as well. I do want to get a couple of vintage posters for the house, but I have some ideas of stuff I want. A couple monster-themed things. I want a poster of Lady Snowblood, or in Japanese, Shura Yukihime. But the problem is I don't have enough space on my walls for all the stuff I already have. Here we are back outside, just kind of digging through shelves. A lot of this stuff is like, I mean, like this wall right here is mostly, you know, books, non-fiction and fiction, but sprinkled in there, there's some weird magazines and there's some manga, and you just kind of got to dig through everything. There are, I don't know, I'm going to guess 8 to 10 places that specialize in manga around Jimbocho, but most of the places don't. However, you can dig up some cool finds in them if you dig through. On the right there, Medium. One of those contains Kaze Shinobu, but it is not there anymore. Buddy picked that up. This is a new place called Nagashima Shoten, and unfortunately we were there on a Thursday, but they were closed. And it looks really awesome inside, so I can't wait to come back to this shop. Here we are at Sawaguchi. Unfortunately, at Sawaguchi, as you will hear here in a moment, you are not allowed to film. The prices are not high, not low, kind of medium. Outside, though, you can find some deals sometimes. I didn't really pick up anything here today, though. And this outdoor stand, I think, is for Yumeno, which we'll see here in a moment. And Yumeno is one of my favorite manga shops in Jimbocho or even in Tokyo. And here we are inside Yumeno. Look at this. Heaven. Before your eyes. They have one of the best selections of manga magazines that I've ever seen in one place. So I specifically went for some Young magazine, and they had probably about 10 issues or 9 issues, and I picked up 5, I think. Don't worry, at the end of this video I'll show you what I picked up, but they have so much more. In the back there is Bondi, the curry restaurant. It'll come back in a second. Anyways, they have a ton of stuff in here. It takes a long time to dig through all of this, but yeah, it's great. It's great, it really is. So anytime you're in Jimbocho, check out Yume-no. Then we had to go to lunch because we were hungry. Whenever somebody takes you around Jimbocho to hunt manga, you should buy them lunch. And man, Bondi is good. And we were there on Thursday. Friday, that was actually the official release date of Otomo, The Complete Works, the second round, and I knew I was going to be able to track it down early. I tracked it down here a day early, and that video is here on my YouTube. Then we went on to this small shoujo specialty shop, but they were also closed. But out in front of the shop, look at all this radness just sitting in front of his door on the staircase. We have old Tina magazines over there. I see some SF magazine. There's a bunch of stuff, man. People are so trusting here, just to leave gold sitting out in a stairwell. So I'm definitely coming back here to see what kind of stuff they have. And I was trying to remember the name, Kundan or something like that. Anyways, I will be back there, and we walked over a little bit outside of the central Jimbocho. There is the Gendai Manga Library, and this is supported by Meiji University, and it was founded by Naiki Toshio, who passed away in 2012 with a huge collection. You have to pay to come in here and be a member, and then pay for what you look at, but I'm definitely coming back to do some research here in the future. And this is the bag of stuff that I got while I was here at the Jimbocho Book Fair. Now let's take a look and see at what I picked up. These are all young comic, circa 1977. I picked up 5 of them. I think I have 8 in total now, but there are 260 to be had. As I've heard, these are all Kamimura Kazuo covers. I'm going to try to, we'll see how this goes. I'm not sure, but love the covers. Paul Gillon. This is an awesome book. I'm so glad I found this. And also Arizona Love. Mobius, grab that. Of course, I picked up the Otomo, The Complete Works, the second round of them, and I did a video on them. There's a link, you can find it. This is some Hanawa Kazuichi, Ito Hikozo, illustrator Hiraguchi Hiromi. I picked up a couple things by him, very sexy, wild stuff. And of course, Maeda Toshio is also sexy and wild and filled with tentacles. And then finally, I got Ishimori Shotaro Mystery. And I also got Curry Lunch. And how much did it cost? Almost 20,000 yen for everything. As many of you know, I am a huge Hino Hideshi fan. In fact, I probably am such a psychotic manga collector now because of this. Onimbo, or Jigoku Mushi Oku Onimbo. Onimbo is the character's name, and he eats bugs from hell. I really enjoyed this, and then I started to really collect Hino Hideshi stuff, which led to collecting more Kyofu, Kaiki Kyofu series comics, released by Lemon Comics, and then the Hibari stuff as well, and then basically just anything Hino Hideshi that I can get my hands on. And recently I got my hands on this, The Art of Hideshi Hino. This book retails, I mean, if you can find it, expect to pay about $50 for it on Mandarake, plus shipping and handling and stuff. I actually found this somewhere digging around much, much cheaper than that, but that's the advantage I have of living here in Japan. Let's take a look at it. This is actually one of my favorite pages because I'm always looking for Hibari and Lemon Comic releases, horror comics releases as well. And this is just being able to see the covers is a great resource. It's a little bit daunting. I have a lot of books on Hino Hideshi, and if you look at his releases in the back, where it just itemizes everything, he's got like 300 releases. It's impossible to keep track. And this one has a foreword by Maruo Suehiro. Of course, they call him a cartoonist here, but really he's a mangaka / illustrator. And all it is just a list of words that he thinks of when he thinks of Hino Hideshi, I think. It's pretty wild. You can freeze frame that, pause the video, and read that if you wish. I have a lot of Maruo stuff as well. Of course, My Lovely Monster. I have the unboxed... what's it? Unboxed Therapy? Unboxed... I have the Softbee, the toy, the big one that goes for about 150, 200 bucks. It's a sweet one. In the back here, we actually do have a list of where everything is from. Living Corpse or Storybook from Hell, Hellboy. So, of course, this is from Panorama of Hell. And that is the man himself, kind of. Panorama of Hell. The color pages in the front are sick. Hell Baby. He just does maggots and rot so well. This must be from Madara no Tamago. Or the Mandala Egg. I don't know a lot of the English titles. Actually, you know what? We can look back here. The Spotted Egg. The Spotted Egg is the English title. He does portray pollution a lot, especially in the 70s. Japan had huge problems with pollution and with people becoming sick from pollution. So it became a common theme, common thread in a lot of his works. Like Doro Ningyo, which I have somewhere around here, probably in Bunko, which is the mud effigy. This, I bet, is from Crimson Snake. That cover's pretty sick. Which I could confirm in the back. Maybe I'll wait till we get there, though. Paper quality is sick. This is in basically new condition, except the spine has a little bit of sun fade. Wow. See, he doesn't even need characters to make a good panel. To make a big one-pager. Nanka kawaii ne. It's pretty cute. I don't know. I do kind of feel... I mean, I like having just one image per page, but I feel like all this dead space could have been utilized better. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a little bit of text down here, something to kind of explain maybe the background, what was going on with him at the time. But beggars can't be choosers, man. More Panorama of Hell. Starving people with distended bellies. Eating human flesh. My Lovely Monster is my favorite. I made a My Lovely Monster ashtray out of Ishinendo, out of clay that hardens after you leave it out, and then painted it up. Sometimes we have Arts and Crafts Day around the house. Everyone needs to have Arts and Crafts Day around their house. Rokuzo, of course, his first major success. Although he did do something before that under his original pen name, which was in Calm, 1967, October issue, which I am looking at right now, released by Tezuka, of course. Morokuzo. Just being sent in the woods to rot and die. Rokuzo no. Zoroku. I got it backwards. Zoroku is actually a real term that was used a few hundred years ago. I think it was like Edo era vocabulary. But it's not a regular word used in Japanese anymore. And we have a little bit on the author, of course, Hino Hideshi, born in 46, debuted in 1967, October issue of Calm. Like I just said, dudes. See, I know some stuff, man. I also have the Garo 1970, when Zoroku's strange disease first comes out. There's also 3 short manga or comics in here. But you have to go from the back, of course, because as Japanese comics are read and manga are read from right to left. This first one is a story of a mermaid. Freak show comes to town. One of the attractions is this mermaid girl. The boy is mesmerized by her. And this kind of has a kind of light-hearted kind of ending to it, unlike most Hino Hideshi stuff. Next, we have the red fruit. The gore. The color is just awesome. And then finally, we have this kind of twist on the Yukihime, or Snow Princess Yokai / Ghost Story. And this is Yuki no Hana, or the Snow Flower. Just gotta love the bulbous eyes of Hino's characters, which are cartoony and kind of balance the gore. And then you'll get something like the females are always have like nice soft features, light touch. And that, my fine friends, is the art of Hino Hideshi. If you can find it, I definitely recommend picking it up. Do you like rare, weird, and just wild manga that is not only hard to find on most SNS, but will probably get you kicked off? Then head over to Patreon, Koenji-shan Reviews. This is where I post the craziest stuff from my collection of now over 1,400 volumes of manga, retro magazines, and art books. For just $3 a month, you get all of that exclusive content, and I'm posting up there a couple times a week now. So head on over to Koenji-shan Reviews on Patreon. Now, let's get back to the show. Alright, let's do a little bit of unboxing. I have taken a box out of a box so that we can unbox said box. So, let's get into it. Alright, let's see what we got here. This is Dynamic Box. Yes, I finally broke down and bought it. There is a manga in here that I wanted that costs about what this box costs. So let's take a look what's inside here. We can see that's the retail price for it. I got this for about 7,500 yen with shipping. Of course, Dynamic Productions is Go Nagai's studio. This is the Dynamic Box Dynamic Production 30th anniversary edition. I know what's in here, of course, which is why I bought it. There's the retail price, 16,800 yen. Alright, let's open it up and see what's inside. I actually, in fact, know that I have one thing that's in here already, and everything else I do not have. I am trying to open it very carefully, though. Ooh, dynamic box. So I took this out of a box because it's in a box already, which is also a box in a box. I actually saw someone on Yahoo Auctions is selling just this box. Because there's some people that have pieced together the box set, but they do not have the box. I've said box a lot of times here. Alright, let's go on. Let's move on with this shit. Alright, dynamic projections. This is a figure. That is a Cutie Honey figure right there. I gotta be honest, I would like to display this. It looks like it's, this clear resin kind of gets a little bit discolored over time. It looks a little bit discolored. Definitely this plastic, bubble pack here is definitely discolored. To be honest, I'm probably gonna put all this stuff back in the box. There, I said box again. Okay. These are all Getter Robot Saga cards, premium cards. Tokusei Premium Kado. And there's 12 of them in here. I actually just picked up a volume of Getter Robot this weekend at a pop-up used bookstore. So 6 cards in each envelope here. I'll keep this stuff all together. Alright, what do we have next? So this I already have. I found online. This is Kaze Shinobu's illustration book. I don't know how I found it, and I found it brand new online. I want to say I paid around 4,000 yen, $40 for it, but I'd have to go back and double check. But this one is brand spanking new. So, you know what? I have a Kaze Shinobu video coming up here soon, a complete and full profile on the master himself, in which I'll be doing a full flip through of this. But this one is brand new, and I do not want to damage it at all. Alright, let's see what else we have in here. Super Robot. Story by Go Nagai. And Ken Ishikawa does the artwork. Looks like we have 4 stories in here. Gutter there. That's pretty cool. Stay tuned. I'll be doing some full flip throughs of some of these. So that's pretty cool. Let's keep going. Here, Sanchome ga Senso desu. There is a war in Sanchome. Sanchome is just an area of a town. So, areas in Japan are separated into chome. I live in a Sanchome as well. I live in a North Sanchome. I probably should not be giving too much of my location away, but well, there we go. Hardcover, unlike the others that were soft cover, so that's cool. Ah, kawaii. Let's look at some more color pages. Everything is like brand new. So good. So crisp. Sometimes you get stuff that's too crisp though, and the first time you open it, if you open it too wide, it starts splitting the spine. Everything starts getting a little bit stale. And this is really why I bought this. I mean, it would have been for the Kaze Shinobu, but I already had the Kaze Shinobu. So let me get this out really carefully though. Dun, 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 dun. And this is the complete works of Devilman. This is like a giant Devilman hardcover omnibus. Go Nagai with Dynamic Productions. This runs around $80, $70 on its own. God, I'm over here sweating. I'm gonna have to wipe that off, man. Oh, see it here in French and Spanish. It's a little bit more light in here. So good. As some of you who know me know, Devilman is one of my favorite manga ever. When I was 18, I even got Devilman tattoos. I got the 2 lines that his wings come out of on my chest and shoulders and back. Yeah, huge Devilman fan, so I felt like I had to pick this up, and the best way to do it was through this set. So that, my fine friends, is Dynamic Box, Dynamic Productions, 30th anniversary. Well, once again, I've bought way too much manga recently, so I can't show you everything that I've picked up, but I can show you some of the stuff that I am reading now, some of the stuff that I'm looking forward to reading, and just some of the stuff that I'm really stoked on. So let's get into it. Alright, well, we'll start off clean here, well, at least clean for me, with some Little Thunder. As many of you know, I'm a huge Little Thunder fan. I got a few prints hanging in my office. I got a bunch of her art books, jacket, t-shirt, keychain, the whole deal. Went to her art exhibition pre-COVID, and I'm hoping that she comes back soon. Not a lot of dialogue in this, but I'm pretty sure this was released in English as well. But it's mesmerizing watching her paint watercolor. I could watch it all day long. Bam! And it's not all color, there's some black and white, but most of it is color. I actually picked this up used, but it's in like brand new condition, so I got it a bit cheaper than the retail price, which was 3,800 yen. And recently I did a video on Shinichi Sakamoto's newest release, Dracula DRCL, and I enjoyed it so much, and also because so many people have recommended it to me over the years, Innocent, or Ino-san in Japanese. I picked up all 9 volumes of this in perfectly new condition, but very cheap online, and I'm looking forward to getting into this. I actually have this image right here in a big oversized art book called Eros times Fetishism that I got, that's got some cool stuff. Some Furuya in there, some Maduro in there as well. And I did a video on that on my Patreon, actually, a full flip through of that. So I'm looking forward to reading this. If I enjoy it, I'll pick up Rouge as well. So that should be cool. Lots of stuff here. Let's see. Hanawa Kazuichi, of course. This is Nue. Nue is like a mythical yokai creature composed of 4 different animals. I think it's a body of a tanuki. I don't know, its feet or arms are like a monkey. I don't know, there's some tiger thrown in there. I don't remember, to be honest. But anytime I find Hanawa cheap, I got this over at Jimbocho at the outdoor book fair the other day when I was over there. Then I always pick up some Hanawa if I don't have it already. Great stuff. Gotta love Hanawa. Then I also picked up some, when I was over in Jimbocho at Yumeno, I picked up a whole bunch of stuff, but I picked up this brand new Ito Hikozo, he lived to be 100 years old. He was born in something like 1904 or something like that. And he's a famous illustrator. His stuff is so cool. And this was, it retails for 1,800 and I got it for 800 yen, still wrapped and new. Very cool stuff. He was in the war, he was an officer in the war. You see a picture in here, I don't know if we'll see it, but there's a picture of him looking mighty stormtrooper-like. Pretty scary, probably was stationed in China and that did not go well. But his artwork is amazing. I'd like to try to find an original print of his. Would be sick. Guess that's from his experience on the battlefield. There's the Jesus. Let's see if we can find some color in here. Just great stuff. Anyways, maybe I'll do a full flip through of that at some point. Let's keep going. I got some Ishimori Shotaro, or Ishinomori Shotaro. This is Dao, or Do, Detective Do. This is awesome. This is Genshi. Gen means hallucination, Shi means figure. So, and she is a detective. I've read half of this so far. Read up to here. There's 4 stories. I read the first 2 and they are really fun. The first one is about a surfer / con man. And the second one I really enjoyed is about this guy goes back to this kind of deserted island where barely anyone lives anymore. Everyone's moved out. And there's a string of murders on the island. And she's got to figure out who the murderer is. Really fun stuff, really wild. Just to put some context in here, when they drew kids back in the day, sometimes they would draw them very dark colored because, you know, like countryside kids, when they're out in the sun all summer long, they get really, really dark. This isn't a caricature of another race. And then sometimes for dramatic effect. Ishimori does that as well. Not that there wasn't plenty of, you know, caricatures, I could say, done in poor taste in the past in Japanese manga, because there's plenty of that. This is Nikudan Jidai, or Flesh Bomb era. I've been really tracking down as much Flesh Bomb stuff as I can. Recently, of course, Fukushima Masami. Saint Muscle is probably the most famous one. This is Miyaya Kazuhiko, who was a really inspired Otomo who did Akira. I just read this recently when I was doing my video on the newest round of Otomo the Complete Works coming out. And in the back of one of them I was reading that, that Otomo was really inspired by Miyaya. And I've been able to find a couple more Miyaya recently, but I'm going to show those all together at some point. But crazy Flesh Bomb artwork. What can I show here? Just ripped muscles everywhere. And thongs. And guns. He, as a child, he's in Manchuria. At the end of the war, all the Japanese have to flee. You know, there's a lot of civilians out there too, because they were working on farms, like collectives and stuff like that. And then he comes back to Japan, a poor kid, and becomes a boxer. And I'm about halfway through this so far, but damn, it's fun. Moving on, and speaking of Fukushima Masami, yes, Roma no Hoshi. I got all 3 volumes. I'm really stoked on this series. I'm in the middle of reading. Which one am I reading now, though? The priest. Nyohambo, the Dirty Priest one, which is a huge 3-volume series of just big bricks. So I'll be stoked to get into this, which is going to be a much easier read. Now let's take a look at the fold-out in the beginning, because the fold-outs are sick. How does it fold out though? And as you can imagine, I'm collecting as much Fukushima as I can so that I can do a proper review of him, his life, and his works at some point, which will be fun. Roma no Hoshi. The Star of Rome. Whoa! Alright, we'll save this for another day, because I'm just showing you what I picked up. Not detailed reviews today. I'm over here throwing Eroguro around. I don't know. I don't know Sabe. This. But I do know Wani Magazine, because they put out Ero manga and porn manga. So actually I was just cataloging a whole bunch of it in an Excel file the other day. Beautiful Money, and this is a bunch of like comic strips, and some of them are wild. I don't know what I can show and what I can't show because I haven't really gotten into it that much yet. But it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to reading this, and I found this for 100 yen. So I am stoked about that. And it's in pretty damn good condition. This too, 110 yen. I believe I found when I was over at the book fair in Jimbocho. And Kasuma Shiro. Love Kasuma Shiro. Most of his stuff is really expensive and hard to find. I got this at Bookmart. My buddy Yosuke, how you doing, brother? And this is about, it's a super lady, Mako, in action. It's Mako, and she is a detective. Mako, she's first Japanese nudie cutie. Nudie cutie. Pretty fun stuff. She is a sexy badass. You can tell he was inspired probably heavily by Western comics, especially the stuff probably coming out in, Playboy, Penthouse, heavy metal, underground comics. She just has that vibe to him. But I picked this up cheap as well because I am a manga digging fool. Alright, starting to get into some of the dirtier stuff that I got. Hiraguchi Hiromi. I'm not going to show anything inside of this. I showed a little bit on a recent Patreon video. You can check it out over there because it is filled with wieners and vajayjays and these block dudes running around crapping on people and shoving their tools in people's mouths, and it is wild stuff. And per Hiraguchi, this one too is too wild for me to show here on YouTube, but these are really fun. I'm halfway through with this, haven't gotten to this yet. I was Googling Hiraguchi, checking out his wiki. I didn't realize that he was also in adult films. I'm not too sure if you want to Google his name, but I kind of regret that. He's a wild looking dude, man. Wild looking dude. And he looks like he would be making manga like this. And equally dirty, but with many more tentacles, I picked up some Maeda Toshio. And actually, when I was shopping and I found these in Jimbocho at the book fair, my buddy who was with me, he's like, oh yeah, I met that guy one time, he's super nice. Then I was online and somebody else was like, oh yeah, I chatted with him a bunch on Facebook, that guy's super nice. Which you wouldn't expect from covers like this. But guess he's a really nice dude. Maybe I should reach out to him. And there we have a dirty tentacle rearing its ugly arm. Choju Densetsu, so Super Beast. The Legend of the Super Beast, maybe? And this is Yoju Kyoshitsu, or the Beast Classroom, something like that. Horror Super Panic. Super fun stuff. Love his artwork. Sometimes the tentacles get to be a little bit much, but what can you do, man? When I was at the book fair, there was a big box full of French stuff. I got a Mobius, I got Paul Guillon, La Survivante? La Survivante? I don't know, I don't speak French. So, what I did was I read it, and then I asked someone in our Discord who has a lot of digital stuff that I don't have if they had an English translation. I read the English translation and then went back and read it again, and it is awesome. Man, I really love this. Man, the 80s were really good to robots because there's a lot of robot love in the 80s. I mean, you have Sorayama Hajime, you have a lot of the stuff going on in the Hrond and heavy metal. Just great stuff popping off for robots in the 80s. They were getting some. So thanks, Chu, for pointing this out to me. I'm so stoked to have gotten this because this is an art book of the Young Comic Complete Works from 1968 to 1981. A friend on IG who collects says there's about 260 of these covers, and actually he has all of them but 25. Me, myself, I only have 7 or 8 of these young comics, but I've been tracking them down slowly. These are, of course, Kamimura covers. These ones are all from 1977, so we have February, December, June. This is weekly. Young Comic was a weekly, or shukan. So that's why 260 covers by Kamimura. It's a damn shame that he passed away at such an early age of 45, I believe he passed away. And I don't remember what it was, some sort of a brain embolism or something, but don't quote me on that. But at any rate, this art book has tons of the covers. And then has them also categorized by year, 69, 70, Kamimura is just so good. There's some Gekiga artists that I put off collecting because I knew it was gonna be a goddamn trap. Like getting your foot stuck in a bear trap. And Kamimura, well, after reading a couple of his things, I fell into the bear trap. But you gotta love Kamimura. And yeah, just to end this all on an even hornier note, recently I've been picking up tons of retro prawn, some weird stuff too, digging out manga from inside of it. Some of the stuff is going to get resold in the future. Some of it's just weird collectible stuff that I wanted to have around. These little pocket books, these are called pockets. This one's Hot Magazine. This one is Rupo, Pocket Rupo. And you can dig up some fun stuff in these, but this is the kind of stuff, again, that I go through on my Patreon, not here, because I value my YouTube channel. And this is something weird, niche that I've been trying to get into recently. I've been trying to track down, is there's a whole era in the 60s and 70s when, especially the late 60s, early 70s, when 3D, remember 3D movies, you know, the Blob, stuff like that, you put on your 3D glasses, and they put out a bunch of erotic books back in the day that were shot in 3D format, and so you put on the 3D glasses and you look through and the images pop out at you. So I found this one, 3D Art Nude. I can't show you the other side. Then I found these. Ritai Club. Ritai means 3D. And I got 2 of these. Unfortunately, they don't come with 3D glasses, but fortunately for me, you can buy a pack of 10 3D glasses, those little paper ones, on Amazon for about $8, so I ordered some. So I'll have a pair of 3D glasses with each one of these books. Alright, that's some of my favorite stuff that I picked up over the last couple weeks. If there's something you'd like to see more of, let me know in the comments down below, and I shall try to accommodate. But let's move on. Alright, now let's take a look at some recent manga news. First off, we have The Town of Pigs by Hino Hideshi. This is his first official English release in nearly 20 years. This is through Starfruit Books. What up, Matt? I'm so glad they're doing this because Hino deserves to be translated more, and I'm excited to see if more stuff gets translated in the future. Everyone over at Starfruit is also awesome, and they were kind enough to send me some digitals early. Here's a few of the pages. The SFX are done perfectly. The translation is great. Get on over to Starfruit Books, drop $17 and pick this up to support them and Hino Sensei. Next, I went over to Vanilla Gallery in Ginza on my lunch break to pick up a few books. They were closed because they were setting up for an upcoming event, and then I noticed on the wall that they were advertising for Dominatrix Heaven. This is going to feature Sora Yamahajime, Rockin' Jellybean, and Terada Katsuya, all of whom I collect and all of whom I love, so I'm really looking forward to this event. This starts from the end of April, and be sure that I'm going to be over there picking up goods, trying to get autographed books, and reporting on it later, so I'm looking forward to this one. I talked about the Eguchi Hisashi record event at Bunkamura in Shibuya last video, but I still haven't made it down there yet. As of the editing of this video right now, I still have a couple more days. I'm going to try to get down there tomorrow, try to pick up some original goods, hopefully a signed book or something, but I'm still going to try to do it, people, and I shall report back. Now for some upcoming releases. First off, we have Tsuruta Kenji, who is probably most famous for his Eminon series, Spirit of Wonder, which was also made into an anime, Forget Me Not. I did a bunch of videos on him. They're up here on my YouTube, so check those out. He's got 2 new releases coming up. First, he's got a manga, which is The Secret Base of Captain Momo. This is about a captain of a crewless ship, her and a cat. And since there's no crew on the ship, of course, most of the time in true Tsuruta fashion, she's walking around naked and probably very self-introspective. Also, he has an art book coming up called Tsubuan, It's not going to be released until May 27th, but I believe pre-orders are going on now, or the pre-order deadline is coming up soon. But the pictures I've seen so far look awesome, especially this last one of the Godzilla. This is definitely worth picking up. And Taiyo Matsumoto fans around the world are rejoicing as we speak, because finally, Volume 4 of the 4-volume set of number 5 is coming out on April 19th. Of course, Volumes 1 and 2 were released in 2002 and 2003, but then Viz Media cut them. I don't know why the hell you would do that, but they did. And then in July of 2021, they began releasing the second edition, including Volumes 3 and 4, and Volume 4 is finally coming out. Don't confuse these with the Japanese releases, which was a 6-volume set, but Viz condensed theirs down into a 4-volume set. I just finished rereading this recently, and it is absolutely great. And finally, the best manga-related news I've heard in a long time. Mary Art Gallery in Yokohama, just outside of Tokyo, is going to be holding an exhibition called Showa Kaiki Manga Syndrome, or Bizarre Showa-era Manga Syndrome, which is featuring some of my favorite horror mangaka of all time. Just take a look at this. We have Hino Hideshi, Junji Ito, Noroi Michiru, Kojima Miyako, Takayama Tatari, Kago Shintaro. I mean, pretty much almost everyone on this list I collect, or I have. I've tracked down, I've done videos on. I mean, this is pretty much like right up my alley, and if you are into horror manga, it will be right up your alley too. Also, I got a little bit of inside information. There's gonna be exclusive prints and merchandise and other kinds of goods there, hopefully some signed books as well. So I'm gonna go down there with a stack of cash to buy myself some stuff, and I might even buy a little bit of extra stuff for resale, because I know a lot of this stuff is not going to be available outside of this event and outside of Japan. So I'm really looking forward to this event next month, April 16th. I'll probably be down there on, I think I'm going on the 18th, but it is going to be awesome, I am sure. And with that, thanks to everyone who watches my show, especially all of you that sub, like, and share. Just by clicking that little sub button, man, you help me out a lot to get all of my weird and wild manga out there into the world. And hopefully it gets other manga fans stoked on stuff that they might not otherwise run into or really know about. Also, if you want to see unedited, exclusive videos unavailable anywhere else, head over to my Patreon page. Koenji-shan Reviews for $3 a month, blah blah blah, you know it, but I put up a video or two every week. Recently I've been putting up 2 videos a week, and recently I've been buying a ton of stuff. Over the past 2 weeks, I spent about $1,000 on books, people. So if you want to see some of the more wild stuff from my collection, hop on over there. And again, thanks to everyone just for watching. You are the reason why I make these videos, and I hope you enjoy them. And until next time, everyone, mata ne.